Mike Jones, they call the plays in the zone. Spit facts, no cap, straight to the bone. Gritter, roaring gossip, the field's their home. Huddle up, press play, you're never alone. Sunday sermons, but the church is turf. From Lambeau chills to Miami surf. Quarterback questions, they dissect the worth. Dropping gems like they mine the earth. Laces out, the mic stays hot. Breaking down the game, every yard, every plot. From kickoffs to OT, they never forgot. Tune into the squad, this the spot. NFL drama, they break it down surgical. Draft day whispers, moves so tactical. Receiver stretching arms, catches vertical. Big C's laugh hitting, vibes so magical. Mike Jones got stats like a human playbook. Big C's insight sharper than a no-look. Halftime debates, better than they should. You fumble the podcast, now you misunderstood. Flags fly, refs blind, penalty stack. They calling out the calls, no sugar, just facts. Fantasy picks, who's carrying the pack? Every week they hit harder than a linebacker smack. Laces out, the mic stays hot. Breaking down the game, every yard, every plot. From kickoffs to OT, they never forgot. Tune into the squad, this the spot. Laces out, the mic stays hot. Breaking down the game, every yard, every plot. From kickoffs to OT, they never forgot. Tune into the squad, this the spot. Sunday sermons, but the church is turf. From Lambeau chills to Miami surf. Quarterback questions, they dissect the worth. Dropping gems like they mine the earth. Laces out, the mic stays hot. Breaking down the game, every yard, every plot. From kickoffs to OT.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way.
What up, football fans? Welcome to another episode of Laces Out Live. I am your host, Big C, and this is brought to you by Game Changers Media. And y'all know the co-host. What up, Michael Jones?
What up, C? Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of Giants Dolphins Therapy Podcast, a show where both our teams are toast and the rest of our seasons don't fucking matter. So,
Ew.
I'm sorry, I just thought I'd put that out there. A little frustrating that the two teams on both of our schedules that I highly expected each of us to win, we just, I don't know. It's pathetic. It's kind of sad. You know, we get our first win last week, and it's like, let's string together a couple wins. Let's put together a couple wins so we can have a couple good weeks, and it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We looked absolutely atrocious, and I'm very disappointed. But other than that, how are you doing, man?
Embarrassed, angry with myself more than anything because I continue to allow myself to be fooled and give myself false hope over a football team that doesn't deserve the fan base. It doesn't deserve the amount of passion that I put into this. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
a lot of fans do. You know what I mean? The time, energy, the money. A franchise that just does not care, that just isn't willing to make the necessary moves to create a winning environment, and it's embarrassing. I allow myself to sit there and gas myself up that, you know, we won last week, you know, Carolina, that's a very winnable game, and then, you know, maybe we could beat the Chargers, and then we got Cleveland, you know, they're not a very good team, we could beat them. Atlanta, they're not a great team, we could beat them, and we could be sitting, you know, still have a chance. And it's just devastating each and every week. This team continues to disappoint me. Yesterday might have been the worst loss in the Mike McDaniel era, in my opinion.
Right.
Now, was it the ugliest? Maybe not, but we were up 17-0. We were up 17-0, and then for 5 straight possessions, we can't do anything, and then we just allow them to run the football down our throats. Their backup running back averaged 9 yards a carry yesterday. 9 yards a carry.
Damn.
That's damn near a first down every time he touched the ball. And he touched the ball 23 times.
That's crazy.
He had over 200 yards rushing.
Well, I'll do
It's a
you one. I'll do you one better. We started the game for the first time in 5 years, back to back opening drives, touchdowns, and then our last 5 drives, 5 turnovers on 5 consecutive drives at the end of the game. Hasn't happened since the Jets, I think, 10 years ago. It, like, so where you have your things that happened, I had my things that happened. Like, I think this is the worst week of football I've ever experienced. Not only on top of that, nothing was as it seems because we both did absolutely disgraceful on our picks. Not counting tonight's game, I am 4-9 this week, and you're 3-10. Like the worst
this
week
week
ever.
was a very strange week. You know, I was sitting there thinking about the teams that lost, and I was trying to think, like, when is the last time that the Philadelphia Eagles, the Baltimore Ravens, the Buffalo Bills, and the Los Angeles Rams lost in the same week? You know what I mean? Like, those are 4 of the top teams in the NFL. When is the last time that all 4 of those teams lost the same week? I'm
Right.
sure I don't know the answer to that, but I'm sure it's been a long, long time.
Yeah.
But, you know, nobody's seen Baltimore sitting at 1-4. You know, the Chargers have taken a complete nosedive, a team that, you know, everybody was excited for because they beat the Chiefs opening night. The Buffalo Bills, even though they're sitting 4-1, the Buffalo Bills haven't been overly impressive. The Philadelphia Eagles, Saquon Barkley had 6 carries last night. Like, what's going on? What's going on? Just a lot of weird things that, you know, Derrick Henry having his issues with the fumbles, just so many weird instances of just stuff that you can't even understand. And obviously I had a bad week as far as betting goes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously my predictions weren't very good. Yeah, Arizona Cardinals losing to the Tennessee Titans when they were up 21-6 for most of the game. 21-3, 21-6. Wow.
Yep.
You know, mind blowing. But I've put this season to bed, and it's sad because the off season was such a long experience. It was my first one as a podcaster, and it was every day just guessing and predicting and trying to who's going to play for who are we going to sign, who's going to be the coach, you know. And I'm back to that already.
The biggest thing
because there's no news of football.
Yeah, the biggest thing is optimism. It's like the biggest thing because for months waiting up for the football season, you're so optimistic. You're looking for reasons to believe, and then here we are 5 weeks into the season, and I mean, bottom line, both of our seasons are pretty much over. So now it comes down to you got a little bit of different issues. It's like, so I'm more concerned with, I think general manager needs to get taken down. He needs to be gone. I don't know about Dabo. I'm kind of on the fence with him. It's just like we had 2 open roster spots this week, but we went and signed Graham Gano to a $5 million kicking deal, and he's been injured the whole season. So it's like, that's bad. That's bad management. He's already old. He's had injury problems before, but you signed him to $5 million contract. That's $5 million we could have had for something else. Kickers are kickers.
We signed an injured receiver that's not ready to play to replace Tyreek Hill. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Bad teams do what bad teams do. You know what I mean? Like, how do we replace our injured receiver with an injured receiver? What sense does that make? None. Zero. Zilch. So I think our teams are in similar positions. I actually think the New York Giants are in a little bit better position than Miami Dolphins. You have a young quarterback that, you know, I'm not going to jump out the window and say he's definitely the answer, the franchise answer. He's shown little things, you know, I'd like to see more. You got a pretty strong defense for the most part. But we both need new general managers. I think we both need new head coaches.
Yep.
But I got a quarterback that's making $50+ million a year that we got on the books for another year. That's not the answer. He's not the answer. He's not the reason we lost yesterday, but when we needed him the most, he did what Tua does. overselling the ball, damn near
Yep.
threw an interception, holding the ball, taking a sack when you can't take a sack there. You cannot. That's not a situation where you can take a sack. You have to at least give someone an opportunity to make a play. And there's too many times that Tua's running out of bounds on 4th down or getting sacked on 4th down and not even giving someone an opportunity for a penalty or a great catch to be made. No opportunity.
Just crunch time mistakes. And that's what I liked with Daniel Jones is he threw 2 picks, but the picks were on 4th down and he threw them down on the opposite side by the 5-10 yard line. So it's just like a punt. He threw it up there instead of just running out of bounds or taking a sack. I get what you're saying with that. And I've seen Tua do that. He takes a sack when at least give somebody an opportunity. I get that.
Yeah. You talk about 5 wins and listen, I can admit when I was wrong. I didn't think that this team was anywhere near a 5-win team. Now I can't see where we win our second game.
Yeah.
As I look at the schedule, I don't think we're going to beat Cleveland. I don't think that we're going to beat the Chargers. I don't think we're going to beat Atlanta. Then we have Buffalo, Baltimore, Washington. I don't see a win in any of those 3 games. We have the Saints. Listen, the Saints have looked damn good the last 2 weeks. They damn near beat Buffalo. They beat the Giants yesterday.
Yep.
They're a team that's trending upward where we're treading in the opposite direction. We got New England again, who has looked phenomenal the last 2 weeks. I mean, where's our second win come? The Jets? And I can't even say that. Technically, the Jets, if Allen doesn't fumble that ball at the 1 yard line, we probably took a loss against the Jets too. And next time we got to play the Jets in the Meadowlands. So I don't know if this team sees a second win. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough one because I mean, we're in a similar position. Like I was saying at the start, it's the Saints was like the number one thing. I'm like, we beat the Chargers. I was shocked. It felt good. It was like, wow, maybe this could be the turnaround. Maybe this could be the spark this team needs. We're beating a 3-0 team. But then the Chargers come out. They look like shit this week. They get absolutely murdered by Washington. And it's like, okay, maybe they weren't as good. And then we go in and get absolutely embarrassed with the Saints. And, we started that game. That game was ours. It was all ours until the end of the second half. And that was it. That's all she wrote. We didn't do anything after that. It wasn't even every time we sniffed the line, it was fumble by Cam Scatterboo inside the 5 yard line. Darius Slayton, who was talking so big of a game after Malik went out. Oh, I just got to step up and be the veteran that I am. Catches the ball, turns up, lets the ball get knocked out, fumble. And then, Jackson Dart, I let that go. He's a rookie. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be trials and tribulations. It's going to be difficult at times. But from your veteran player like Slayton, that one really irritated me. I don't really count. Like I said, the interceptions were whatever they were. I don't really count them as that. But obviously we got a fumble problem. We can't hold the damn ball. And that's a big issue to have. You can't win a game if you turn the ball over 5 times. I mean, end of story. Don't care who you are.
You're talking about the draft. I'm not willing to give up on Jonah yet. Listen, we're only 5 weeks in Jonah, Kenneth Grant. I'm still have high hopes for Kenneth Grant and Jonah. I don't think that Tyler Warren was the correct answer in the draft. Listen, Tyler Warner may become an all-pro. He's looking phenomenal so far, and he's going to be a great player, but that was not the correct answer for our football team. We need too many pieces on the offensive and defensive line. I don't care how great of a tight end you have if you don't have an offensive line and a defensive line. We need to get better in the trenches if we want any chance. Tyler Warren couldn't make the tackles yesterday. You know what I mean? I don't think Tyler Warren was going to play any better than what Darren Waller played for us. So you know what I mean? And that's another thing. Jonah should be playing on the right side, not the left. We need complete players, not specialists. You're absolutely correct. You're correct. You're absolutely correct. And it's sad because you got Membu playing so well for the Jets. You got Campbell playing so well for the Patriots. And that's the problem with the Dolphins typically, is that we finish just enough out of the top 10 that we don't get that elite player. We get the leftovers. We don't get the elite players because we're always too good to get a top pick, but too bad to be anything that resembles a successful franchise.
Yeah.
So hopefully this year, the Miami Dolphins win 1-2 games and we have an opportunity to select an elite player that can really help this team get back on the right track. But we need to get people in the front office that can select these players, pick these players correctly, because the people we have in charge right now are not it. They're not it.
Right.
Pick 13 is not elite play. Raphael, pick 13. You should be able to get a really good player. Don't get me wrong, but let's be real. How many elite players are there in the draft where you're like, that guy? I would say maybe 4 in any given draft. Like 4 really, those guys have an opportunity to be, Hall of Fame type players.
Right. If that, it really depends on the year. I just, it's the management. I'm not too upset with the Giants and how they were drafted and how their picks, like, they've done good with players. They've done really good. But when you're getting rid of players and they're going to other teams, like enter Daniel Jones or something like that, and these players thrive, it really makes you question, what is the problem? Is it the coaching? Is it the offensive line coaches? Is it the defensive line coaches separate from the actual head coaches and the defensive coaches and offensive coaches? Is it just ownership? Is it just doesn't make sense to go into a game. I know we're broke, but you can move money around and sign somebody to where you don't have 2 open roster spots. How do you go into you don't even have a complete roster? It doesn't make sense to me. We could have upgraded Turbo Miller for a 3rd running back. What happens if both our running backs go down? It's just the questions that are starting to come into my head. Like I'm very happy with the picks that we picked. I'm very happy with the players that we receive. But if you don't do nothing with those players, if you can't develop these players, if you can't get them to work together as a team, it's got to be something in-house that's doing this. It's got to be either your lax practices or just not training hard enough or whatever the hell it is. But
you're not building an offense. You need an offensive line. He's got an offensive line. You know what I mean? He's got Jones got an offensive line right now, and Alban Benito. So you're saying that Jonah and Grant would have showed something by now. This is game 5. You do realize that Patrick Paul was absolutely horrible last year, right? You do realize that Christian Wilkins wasn't very good in his rookie year, and he ended up being a really good defensive tackle. 5 weeks is not enough to say someone is a bust. It's just not. Would you have loved, and I had high hopes for him, and would you have loved for him to come out and automatically look like an all-pro? Yes. And do some players do that? Yes, they do. But not every player is going to be at that level straight out of college. It's just not. They're just not. So, I still have high hopes for them. You can't label those 2 as a bust, not by a long shot. Give them some more time. They deserve more time to get established, hopefully get some proper coaching, because I think we can all agree the coaching that we got with the Miami Dolphins is not it. So how can you trust them to develop our young rookie players? You know what I mean?
Exactly. I get that.
But it's
All right.
Overreaction Monday. We gonna talk about some things, some key notes and news around the league, and don't jump out the window. Just like I said, overreaction. They're not busts. Give them an opportunity. Maybe they don't turn into anything. Maybe they don't, but it's far too early through 5 games to say this player is the wrong
It's
pick.
a big jump from college to the professionals. I mean, let's just be real. It does take some getting used to. So, give these players time. You very rarely see a guy come out there and be top 5, top 10 right off the bat. So
I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying you're wrong. You could be absolutely right. You could absolutely be right. I'm not saying you're wrong, but you can't sit there and say that 100% that these guys are busts. You can't do that. That's too early. I was wrong about the prediction. I said that. You were absolutely right. I let my fandom get in the way. I did think Jonah and Kenneth Grant were going to be better than what they were so far. I did have higher hopes. You were absolutely correct, sir.
all right, without further ado, let's get to our first one of the day. Bengals need to trade for Russ if they hope to keep their season alive.
That's all.
Overreaction.
Yeah, Russ. What's Russ doing? You know what I mean? What the hell is Russ doing?
True.
Or what is Russ ain't saving this team. This team is bad.
And
This
I don't
team
under,
is bad.
yeah, and I don't understand it because I've heard multiple people saying that the Bengals need to pick up Russ. I just don't get it either. So you're in the same headspace as I am.
Russell Wilson, he had the one good game, and what was it against Dallas?
Yep.
The other games that he's played in this year, he's been bad. And the Bengals are more than an aged quarterback away from competing on a weekly basis. Jake Browning hasn't been good by any stretch of the imagination, but again, we're not talking about adding, a prime Dan Marino or a prime Peyton Manning to this Bengals team. We're talking about Russell Wilson. That's not doing anything for this football team.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to the next one. Sunday's Pats win was the biggest post-Brady era.
I don't think that's an overreaction. You beat the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. You got Mike Vrabel in. Lots of people see him as the correct head coach for this franchise. Former player. He had a great deal of success with the Tennessee Titans. Drake May looked phenomenal, especially that last drive. Just absolutely moving all over the field, making plays. They got a very young defense. Like I said, I had mentioned Campbell before, their rookie left tackle. He's been one of the top graded tackles in all of football, not just rookies, in all of football. So this is just year one with Mike Vrabel, but name another win that's felt as big as this. It felt like these Patriots may have arrived, may finally be ready to start competing for the playoffs and dare I say, a division title. And I don't know if they're going to be able to compete for the division this year. Yeah, they beat Buffalo, and that's probably the hardest game that they're going to have is playing Buffalo in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. But I still think they're a young team where they're going to have hiccups throughout the year. This is a team that just lost to the Raiders, 2 weeks ago. So they're going to still have hiccups because they're a young team. But yeah, I think this win showed that, maybe the New England Patriots are back and ready to compete on a regular basis for the playoffs.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I watched that game last night. It was an entertaining game. I mean, you're just expecting, like I said, we both picked Buffalo. You just expect Buffalo to beat New England, especially when they're in Buffalo. And here we are, week 5. There's no more winless teams in the league right now. So that was a good game.
There's no more undefeated teams too.
Undefeated.
So shout out to those 72 Dolphins, still the only NFL franchise. And we do owe a bit of gratitude to Mike's New York Giants for helping us stay that way, because they did knock off the previously undefeated New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. So we gotta tip our hats to them. But another another year, another bottle of champagne cracked for the greatest team in NFL history, the 72 Dolphins.
There you go. There you go. Glad my team could be of assistance. All right. Philadelphia Eagles are no longer the team to beat in the NFC.
I mean, I think that's an overreaction. I feel like they were saying this last year at a certain point. You know what I mean? Had they played as good a football as I thought they would have at this point? No. Yesterday's loss to Denver. Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos are a good football team, better than what I wanted to give them credit for. They have some issues on this football team. Not getting AJ Brown the ball enough. Now they're not getting Saquon the ball enough, and now they need to just figure themselves out, get into that cruise control. I think they'll get there by the end of the season. I think they'll win this division. But Washington did look good yesterday, getting Jaden Daniels back, so they're going to have some pressure on their heels, definitely. But I think it's too early to say that. I think the Eagles are still the team to beat. Obviously, Detroit's out there. Detroit is looking phenomenal. Green Bay hasn't looked as good the last 2 weeks. So, I mean, I don't know if there's, the Rams lost this week to the 49ers. So I still like the Eagles as the team coming out of the NFC. But they do have some issues that they do need to figure out.
What do you think the problem is with Saquon? Is that because they're missing a couple of linemen, or is it like just fatigue from the previous season? It's just crazy. It's wild to me to have a guy that broke all the records and had the biggest year I've ever watched live, and it's like he's not even existing anymore. It's kind of insane.
Well, I mean, he is a little dinged up right now. Obviously, you're not going to do too much with 6 carries. I think teams are focused in on stopping the run this year. They would rather let Jalen Hurts try to beat them with his arm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think teams do try to take away the run and, hey, beat us with the pass. And Jalen Hurts is going to have to show that he can do that. He's going to have to get them receivers more involved and show that there's a real threat of this Eagles team throwing the football if they're going to want to open up space for Saquon. And Saquon's got to get healthy too.
Fair enough. Moving on. Chargers have went from contender to missing the playoffs.
I think that's an overreaction. They had the loss to the Giants. That wasn't pretty. I admit. But yesterday they kind of had Washington with their backs against the wall, and the NFL is such a tricky place. You know what I mean? One play can straight change the whole direction of an NFL game. Ladd McConkey had returned a punt for a touchdown, and it got called back for a penalty, and they ended up not getting any points there, and then it was just all downhill from there. So, if Ladd McConkey scores on that play, it's a completely different game, and the Chargers probably walk away with a victory. Washington is one of the better teams in the NFL, though. They haven't looked like it because Jaden Daniels has been hurt. They've been dealing with a lot of injuries themselves. But let's not act like they lost to a scrub. This Washington team is going to be really good. They are really good. The Chargers do have some issues. Both their tackles are out. Rashad Slater and Joe Alt, they need to get them guys back. Khalil Mack, he's on the shelf. They need to get him back. He's their pass rusher. They need him. Omarion Hampton, he got hurt yesterday, so he's going to have to get back. I still think this Chargers team is good enough to make the playoffs, so I think it's an overreaction. But they're definitely not the team that everybody was ready to crown them as the AFC West champions.
Right. Yeah, including me. I mean, I was definitely nervous when we played them, but oh well. We'll see what happens.
They'll get back on track this week against the Dolphins. Don't you worry.
Carson Wentz should start the rest of the season for the Vikings.
I think that's an overreaction. I don't think with Carson Wentz or with JJ McCarthy is going to the Super Bowl regardless. But JJ McCarthy is your future at this point. You let go of Sam Darnold for him. You might as well have kept Sam Darnold if you're going to, sabotage him and stick with Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz did hurt his shoulder. But Carson Wentz is not the answer. Carson Wentz had a couple good years in Philly, and then after that, he just fell off the, I mean? He fell off the side of the earth. He's not the answer. Your future lies with JJ McCarthy. You need to get him back in there and playing. He's the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I agree. The Ravens Super Bowl window is gone. I just see like they, every year they're favorites. Every year they're one of the favorites to go all the way, and they just can't do it. And I just, I just really think that window's closing. I mean, they're not getting any younger, that's for sure. Excuse me.
I think this is an absolute overreaction. If you look at the amount of players that are hurt on this football team right now, let's go down the list. Ronnie Stanley, all-pro left tackle. Patrick Ricard, fullback, one of the best fullbacks in the league. I know a lot of teams don't have fullbacks, but Patrick Ricard is one of the best. Cornerback Marion Humphreys, all pro corner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to say this dude's first name. Awuzie, the corner. He's another very good defensive back.
Yep.
You got the other tackle, Emory Jones, out. You got all-pro safety, maybe the best safety in all of football, Kyle Hamilton, out. And let's not forget about Lamar Jackson, one of the top 2 quarterbacks in all of football. Of course, you're not going to be very good. Of course, you're not going to win a lot of games. This is a completely different team. You just took 7 of the top 10 players off this team, and you think you're going to be good? I mean, these guys get healthy. The Ravens, whether they sneak into the playoffs, barely make the playoffs, if they get into the playoffs, they are still one of the top 2, top 3 favorite teams to come out of the AFC. Their window's not closing. As long as Lamar Jackson's in his prime, this team is going to have an opportunity for Super Bowl wins.
Yeah. Yeah, Kosa, man. Mark Sanchez, he is feeling a little chippy, isn't he? He got stabbed up, right? I don't even know what happened there. Did you hear anything about that?
I didn't hear nothing. People keep saying so, but I never looked into it.
All I seen was something about Mark Sanchez had gotten an altercation with somebody and got himself stabbed. And was in the hospital.
Over a
tip? Food fetcher probably asked for a tip. I don't know what it was. I haven't heard. I just heard he was getting charged. So he's the one that got stabbed, and he's still getting charged for assault. So I'm guessing he was the aggressor. We'll have to look into that.
Costa, you're crazy. Lamar Jackson. We're talking about this guy just being a finalist. In reality, he should have won the MVP last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How is the guy's window? How's it closed? You know what I mean?
I don't know. He wasn't. In all fairness, Lamar didn't really look that great at all. Like he's losing a lot of yards and getting sacked for long sacks. Like he just didn't look great.
All pro left tackles out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but it's Lamar Jackson. He's supposed to carry the team a little bit. You know what I mean? You still don't expect him to drop back 15 yards and take a sack.
I feel you. I feel you.
But I mean, I don't think he's done. Obviously, it does make a difference. It's time to take the Colts seriously as a Super Bowl contender. This is a tough one because I almost didn't want to say it because that's hard to believe.
Listen, the Colts have been phenomenal. Jonathan Taylor has looked like the best running back in all of football, right? I think there's 2 players that have 3 touchdowns in a game, and he's done it twice this year so far. He's definitely the offensive player of the year, in my opinion, so far. Daniel Jones has been lights out. Listen, they beat the Denver Broncos. They beat the Denver Broncos. They're sitting at 4-1. But their other wins are against the Raiders, who are a very bad team, the Dolphins, who are a very bad team, and the Tennessee Titans, who are a very bad team. So 3 out of their 4 wins are against the bottom of the barrel teams in the NFL. So listen, I think the Colts will go to the playoffs. Absolutely. They're definitely in the hunt for the number 1 spot in the AFC race right now. They're tied with Buffalo at 4-1. The Steelers had a bye week. They're 3-1.
Yep.
So I think the Colts will definitely make the playoffs. But as far as the Super Bowl, I don't see the Colts beating a Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills, even the Steelers. I don't see them beating those teams. And you're gonna have to beat Kansas City Chiefs. You're gonna have to beat probably 2 of those teams to go to the Super Bowl, and I just don't see it.
Yeah. Okay. I could see that. And our last one for the day. Giants and Dolphins will both be picking in the top 5 for the next draft.
See, this is difficult. This is difficult because that's 2 of 5 spots. So let's see.
We got Tennessee.
I think Tennessee will be picking in the top 5. The Jets will be picking in the top 5.
Possibly
the Dolphins will be picking in the top 5. I'm on the fence with the Giants. I think the Dolphins will be in the top 5. I really do. At this point, I do not see a second win. Like, I'm dead serious. I'm not being dramatic. I don't see a second win unless they make drastic changes or Kenneth Grant wakes up in the morning and, or Jonah wakes up in the morning and just has an epiphany. I don't see a second win as of right now. I'm going to say that it's not an overreaction.
Right.
The Giants have the tiebreaker with the Saints. Right. So if they finish equal with the Saints, they're, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the Jets may end up having the number 1 pick in the draft, which is going to be terrible because we're in both need of a quarterback. So they're going to get their, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to get their choice, the cream of the crop. But, yeah, I would say it's not an overreaction. What's your thoughts?
I mean, at this point, I don't think it's an overreaction. It's just, we both lost to bottom of the barrel teams. And it's a consistent thing. It's not like it's anything new. You know, you guys have a problem. You guys can score all you want, but you have a problem closing teams out, and that's just what it seems to be. Tua doesn't make the best decisions, and with the Giants, I can't expect the Giants to make it out of the top 5 because we have a rookie, and like I was talking about at the beginning, I'm just so disappointed. I think a lot has to do with coaching, and if you're not coached good enough, you're just not going to be good enough. So, I could definitely see the both of us picking in the top 5. Now, whether that happens or not, I don't think it's an overreaction at all. So, I think more than likely that
Did
could
you
happen.
trade away your first overall pick this year, though?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't.
What
think
did you
so.
give up for Jackson Dart to get back in the first?
I think we traded a 4th and a 5th. I can't even remember.
That seems pretty low to get back in the first.
Yeah. Who did we trade Dart for? Let's see if I can find this. The New York Giants traded a 2025 second-round pick, number 34, and a 2025 third-round pick, number 99, and a 2026 third-round pick to the Houston Texans to acquire Jackson Dart. A second, a third.
Costa, we can't run the football. I mean, listen, I'm all for with trying to stick with the run, but they were eating our lunch on that offensive line. You know, we were at Devon Achane, 10 carries, 1.6 yards a carry. Out of his 10 runs, we only gained positive yards on 2 of the 10 yards. The rest were negative. You can't keep running the ball when the line's playing that bad.
Yeah. See, that's the thing of the Giants. Giants did the same thing. Our O-line's trash, and it was trash, and we couldn't run, but we did get Andrew Thomas back, and ever since we got Andrew Thomas back, it's like the whole offensive line plays a lot better. We're able to run the ball, and Cam Scatterboo is definitely a big part of that too. But it was so demoralizing when you watch a team like the Giants. What I'm used to is they try to run the ball up the middle every time, and they never get anywhere. First, second down, they run the ball. Like, what are you doing? You can't run the ball, and they keep doing it over and over.
Well, half our throws are behind the line of scrimmage. We throw sideways more than we throw down the field. So,
yeah,
both teams have major issues. Hopefully, you guys got your quarterback of the future. We definitely need our quarterback of the future. I was a big Tua supporter. I felt like we could win with Tua, and you can win games with Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback. But you need an offensive line. You need a defensive line that can stop the run, and you can't ever put them in any high pressure situations,
right?
Because if you're asking them to go out there and win you the football game, you're gonna be disappointed.
Agreed. That's all I got for you today.
He's been doing that on a consistent basis. That is this team's bread and butter, is that throw over the middle, and this year he has continued to sail it. If Jalen Waddle does not get a finger on that ball's intercepted again. Another game-clinching interception if Waddle doesn't get his hand on that football. So, now Tua's not even doing the things that he excels at. He's not even doing those things anymore. So, again, he had a very good game until we needed him to be great, and he just doesn't have that clutch gene.
Yeah.
But I will continue to support this team. We'll continue to bring you the news and notes. We got some exciting news coming up for the Finn Posse podcast soon.
Excuse me.
It's going to change the dynamic. It'll be a new a new look, that's for sure, and it will be a new presentation style. I got some ideas I want to run by my co-host Mike Jones, but be excited for that at least. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to Game Changers. What are those called?
QR codes.
QR code. We made
Right
it
at the
very
top.
easy. Scan the QR code at the top of the screen and go subscribe to the Game Changers, because at some point Laces Out Live is only going to be exclusively on that channel. We're trying to build that channel up. Hopefully, maybe bring you some different sports, not just football. That's Game Changers, you know what I mean? Different sports, different options. So you're gonna have to go over there and subscribe, because I got a lot of big plans for the Finn Posse podcast, and my good co-host here, Michael Jones, gonna be helping me out. So exciting times, exciting times. But we love you, we appreciate you, and we'll be back Friday with our pick'ems. You know it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Any last thoughts, Mikey?
Hey, man, sorry, Finn fans. Rough week for you guys, rough week for us. Let's keep our head ups and just keep cheering on our teams, and we'll see you guys Friday. I'll see you guys Friday. Have a good.
What? I'll see y'all tomorrow. Fins up forever, ever, and ever.
Go.
Peace.
Big C and Mike Jones, they call the plays in the zone. Spit facts, no cap, straight to the bone. Gritter, roaring gossip, the field's their home. Huddle up, press play, you're never alone. Sunday sermons, but the church is turf. From Lambeau chills to Miami surf. Quarterback questions, they dissect the worth. Dropping gems like they mine the earth. Laces out, the mic stays hot. Breaking down the game, every yard, every plot. From kickoffs to OT, they never forgot. Tune into the squad, this the spot. NFL drama, they break it down surgical. Draft day whispers, moves so tactical. Receiver stretching arms, catches vertical. Big C's laugh hitting, vibes so magical. Mike Jones got stats like a human playbook. Big C's insight sharper than a no look. Halftime debates, better than they should. You fumble the podcast, now you misunderstood. Flags fly, refs blind, penalty stack. They calling out the calls, no sugar, just facts. Fantasy picks, who's carrying the pack? Every week they hit harder than a linebacker smack. Laces out, the mic stays hot. Breaking down the game, every yard, every plot. From kickoffs to OT, they never forgot. Tune into the squad, this the spot. Laces out, the mic stays hot. Breaking down the game, every yard, every plot. From kickoffs to OT, they never forgot. Tune into the squad, this the spot. Sunday sermons, but the church is turf. From Lambeau chills to Miami surf. Quarterback questions, they dissect the worth. Dropping gems like they mine the earth. Laces out, the mic stays hot. Breaking down the game, every yard, every plot. From kickoffs to OT.